So the way that a lot of people are thinking about taxes is misinformed. Intentionally, most of us have been misinformed. Taxes don't really cost you money. Taxes save you money. Taxes are a discount program. I say that because I can't afford to pave the road in front of my house. I can't afford that. But if every person on my street puts in a little bit of money, then we can afford to pave the road. I can't afford to build a park in my neighborhood, but if everyone in my neighborhood puts in a bit of money, we can almost afford to pay the park. If other people who may not ever use the park are also willing to put in a little bit of money. That's sort of how taxes work. My neighborhood can't afford to build a major highway, but my whole state can if everyone puts in a little. It's like a coupon book. That's what taxes are. We can't individually afford to build a school, but we can as a collective. We can't individually afford to support senior citizens in their elder years. But collectively, if we all put in a little bit of money and it sits in those accounts and gains interest, collectively, we can. And that's where our taxes are supposed to go. That's why we're willing to pay taxes, right? Because it's paying for things we can't afford to do on our own. The problem arises when some greedy people look at that big pool of tax dollars and think, I got to get me some of that. And that's sort of what has been happening. It's been happening for some time. Because what they are doing is saying, hey, I don't want to actually pay any money. Elon Musk could absolutely afford to not have the government build any of his infrastructure. If he truly believes in pure capitalism, sink or swim on your own, he could pay to pave all of his own roads into his factories. He could pay for the infrastructure. He doesn't. He uses our tax dollars, our collective tax dollars, to pay for those things. And then he goes to the government and says, how can I get more of those tax dollars that I didn't earn? And that's where a lot of our tax dollars are going. Elon Musk, for example, is getting millions of our dollars every week for his company, at the same time that he's trying to take away the programs we paid for. We paid to be able to afford to feed children at school, to buy their books at school, to fix streetlights, to create parks, to mow the lawn at those parks. That's what we pay for. But instead, some people are going in there and trying to take that money for themselves. That's why the government can't afford to do so many of the things that it does, because A, some of the biggest earners in the country have been leading an effort for decades to not pay the same percentage that the rest of us do, but to not only not pay that, but then also to find ways to take the tax dollars we pay in and use them for themselves and their own businesses rather than what they're supposed to go to. Social Security, our safety net, healthcare, our retirees, our veterans, education, scientific research. That's what we're paying for. There's no way I could have afforded for us to get a COVID vaccine, but collectively we could. So stop thinking of taxes as something that people are taking from you. Think of it instead of as how it truly is, which is a discount program for you to be able to afford things you never possibly could as an individual. And also, let's stop allowing people to take our money that's supposed to be going to these things and co-opt it for themselves and for their businesses. Have a good one. And as always, please be kind.